Hi, welcome back to MU Public Access. I'm one of your hosts, Lyric.
And I'm another co-host, Logan. So Marymount University and the Board of Trustees just put out a release, a proposal to cut out almost half of our majors, some including a Bachelor's of Art in English, a Bachelor's of Art in History, and my double major, a Bachelor's of Art in Economics. And this is not including many other...
It's okay because I'm going to read them from the email. Theology and Religious Studies, Philosophy, Mathematics, Art, History, Sociology, English, Economics, Secondary Education, and English and Humanities.
The majority of these majors are core staple in any university in the United States.
Exactly. And what does this mean for our students? Can they no longer pursue their education?
Would they have to transfer to another university?
Let's find out.
So today we have a student who's actually going to be directly affected by this proposal, Mr. Kim.
How are you doing today, Mr. Kim?
Not so great since I heard the news over lunch.
So what is your major?
I am double majoring in English and sociology. I'm thinking about getting to law or journalism after this, and apparently I might not be able to.
And sociology and English are the two on the list for those proposals. Now, how does this directly affect you, and how are you going to move forward?
Well, for starters, I'm already a year into my degree. I took a lot of classes for the first semester and the second semester now, and if this does push forward, I may have to transfer to a different university in the state.
Now, do you think it's a little too late to transfer for fall of 2023, or how are you going to move forward from that?
I feel like it's not really that late for me because I still haven't finished some of my prerequisites. I finished most of it, like for I guess the theology courses and some of the other liberal arts core subjects. But other than that, I'm honestly just worried about my other friends who are already sophomores or juniors into these degrees. So yeah.
And especially for juniors, it's going to be a little too late to transfer.
Exactly.
So alternative is either going to have to take the rest of actually restart after their associate's degree, or start from the beginning with a different major.
Yeah. I just want to talk about how a lot of my friends are majoring in the humanities, but something like economics is just so random, and I don't know why that's being cut out since it's a pretty big degree that you can get here in Marymount.
Especially English too, though. Like, a lot of people major in English, so it's so confusing.
Yeah, and the reason why I chose Marymount is because of its proximity to DC, and there's a lot of journalism jobs that you can get here in this area, and there's a lot of opportunities for writers like me, but I guess Marymount just doesn't want that.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel like your university cares about you, or do you feel like they've been neglecting students lately?
Well, as a freshman, I was a little on the fence for it. I just wanted to see if Marymount was a good fit for me, and for some time, I feel like it has, despite its shortcomings. But ever since I heard about this news, there has been rumors already spreading about it, but I didn't want to believe it until I actually got this notification. And I feel like Marymount's just not doing its job.
Now, I do know that SGA is going to put out testimonials. Get in touch with the SGA on their Instagram. They're also combating this, and we're here to help spread that awareness. The SGA has already sent a letter to the president of the university, President Becerra. So definitely talk to one of your senators, and you can do an official testimony towards them to help get that proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kim, for being on the show.
Go Saints.
Go Saints.
Go home. That's what they're trying to say.
Get out of here. Oh my God, guys,
Maisha.
you will not believe who we have next.
We
Ready
have
to spill the beans
a
and all the
class
juice.
of 2026 senator,
Yeah, right
which,
there.
side note, I'm running for class of 2026 senator.
Right, so then you
Vote
got
for me in
competition. How
March.
do you feel?
Oh, I'm running for something else next semester.
So you don't have competition. Okay, up next we have Maisha Jump. Maisha, tell us why you're here today.
I'm here because I'm representing SGA. I'm a senator for the class of 2026, and I'm also the Affordability and Financial Affairs Committee chair. And I just want to say that the members of SGA do not agree with the proposal that's being sent to President Becerra regarding cutting major programs in Marymount. a lot of students are going to be affected by this decision, and no one is happy with what's going on right now. So we're trying to help the students as best as we can.
So, Maisha, what are you majoring in?
I am a criminal justice major, and this doesn't affect my major specifically, but like almost my entire school. The School of Science and Humanities is getting rid of almost everyone except, I think, politics, criminal justice, and psychology.
Now, do you feel as if Marymount University is putting the students first or their financial needs first?
They're definitely not putting the students first in this decision, and I did receive, someone said that the reason behind this was because of financial reasons, like budget cuts. But even if they get rid of the programs, they're not getting rid of teachers, so they're not getting rid of any of the money.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's not students' fault that they live in paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
On an SGA perspective, how is this going to affect students who are being cut from Marymount?
These students, they get to graduate with the same degree, but the program doesn't exist anymore. So it's kind of hard to say that you graduated with this degree when there's no way to prove it, kind of. And so it just puts people in a very awkward position, and it makes them not feel like their major is like valued within the school.
So people who currently, let's say they are an English major, they can still, and they're a freshman, they can still graduate with that major?
Yes.
Interesting.
But people coming in, they will not be able to use that program. So it also discourages a lot of people, if they don't have their major, to come to the school.
Exactly. It's already hard to commit to Marymount, yeah, so for sure.
Now, the possibility of transfer. I know as SGA we want to retain as many students as we can, but would you encourage or recommend students to get on the ball to transfer to another university?
Personally, I would transfer if I was facing this issue where my program is not being accepted anymore, because you're getting rid of like the critical foundation of why I came here. So there's no really reason to stay, especially if like all of your other classmates also don't have the same major anymore. And they're also getting rid of the theology major, and I feel like that's
At a Catholic university?
Yeah, at a private Catholic institution, they're getting
Insane.
rid of the basis major that the school was built for.
Which is in their value.
Yeah,
Shocker.
Well, do you have any other comments that you'd like to give us before we release you?
I think that's all, but thank you for having me.
Thank you, Maisha.
All right, and for our next guests, we have Miss Gabby and Joe. One's a business major and
Nursing.
So how does this directly affect you? I
Sorry.
know being a business and a nursing major doesn't necessarily directly affect you, but how do you think problems could arise?
Well, as someone who came to a institution or college to be promised something, I feel like it would be very upsetting to my peers to find out that college is not cheap, and college isn't a really easy thing to attend to, and some people they're putting things on the line to come here and risking multiple things it's just frustrating, the fact that they'll just promise you something and just take it away, and I feel like they're not keeping the students student body in their consideration with this decision.
Now, do you think Marymount University and the promise that our president made on our orientation, do you think that Marymount is putting the students, our saints, first?
No. No.
What do you feel like you would do moving forward because of this issue? Do you think they would protest? Do you think students are going to do more? How do you feel? Or what do you feel like what action should be taken?
Honestly, I feel like students should protest, because if you're paying how much we're paying to come here and just get your major, just cut right out and just be completely you made the decision to come here to further your education. And seeing my friends are English majors, and I feel awful at the fact that they took the risk coming here and just got completely shoved underneath the gutter with this. And I feel like students should protest, because it is important to show that that we care about things like this, and it's just unfair.
A lot of us, like she said, we have friends that are English majors, theology majors. I feel if they end up having to transfer or something, there'd be a lot of lost friendships as well with this problem. Yeah.
Do you feel like this decision makes it harder to stay at Marymount?
Yeah,
Yes.
because I could be next on the chopping block, and then I just wasted my time here.
Yeah, because a lot of people are from out of state. She's from California. It's just, no.
One final question. Now, choosing a college is super difficult. I'm obviously, you didn't just pick the first college that came to mind. How likely is it that you're going to recommend a new student or one of your friends to actually come?
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Ooh. So on a scale from 1 to 10.
0. Like,
0
don't.
being like don't come. Yeah.
0
Not
being like-
only is this decision hurting the current students, but it's also hurting any future saints that this school is trying to get.
And all the ones that came to admitted student stay as well.
And I feel like not also just like students that go here, but people that are on like athletic teams that are like really want to play on this team, but they don't have their major. I feel like that can be very upsetting for them.
Like, I personally love my team. Like, that's honestly what's like keeping me here, and like the relationships that I have with those people. But like, if some of my teammates can't pursue their education at an institution that they came here to further pursue their education, that's just like messed up.
Thank you all so
Oh, yeah,
much
have
for
a good day.
coming.
Thank you.
Yay. All right, we have next Becca. How are you doing today, Becca?
I'm a little outraged, to be honest. How are you?
One could say devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated.
One could say devastated. But I'm
Disgusted.
trying to
In pain.
hold myself in. In pain, yes.
Yes. Okay, so what is your major, Becca?
My major is psychology.
Okay. And so how does this, since this change doesn't directly affect psychology, how do you, like, why is it affecting you so much?
Mostly, I'm concerned about my friends that have like put in a year or two of education, and it's obviously taken tolls on them. It's really hard, and now they're just thrown under the bus. They have to like either change their majors or change schools, which in one case could mean that the workload could get harder for them. In another case, it could mean that they have to undergo more years of schooling. And I don't want my friends to be upset like that. And I think it's really unfair.
Now, I always ask this question. Is Marymount putting you first? Just because you're a psychology major, are they truly putting you first by this decision?
No, they're really not. I feel like this decision, it's kind of selfish, to be honest. They're really not putting the Saints first.
And do you feel like, because it's so hard already to get credits transferred from Marymount University, so if someone wanted to transfer, they would have to start all over again, like how you were saying, and then more money and more time and more schooling just to be disappointed over and over again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy to get out of this school and start fresh.
What do you feel like the students need to do to move forward with changing this decision that they're trying to do?
I feel honestly that we should petition to get the majors that were just cut back, because I don't think we're actually moving forward with it.
Right.
We're actually taking steps back.
Exactly.
Now, what is your opinion on Marymount cutting core classes, core majors, as opposed to auxiliary majors, and that was not as common as, in other universities?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is it's just not fair, because I know a lot of the core majors are really popularly sought after, and a lot of my friends have been affected because their majors have been targeted. Yeah.
Now, I see that you're repping some rival colleges and universities, George Mason.
Yes, I am.
Would you consider, after this change, transferring to a closer school like George Mason or George Washington?
I definitely would consider it. I don't want to keep going to a school that represents me and not my friends. And even then, they don't do a good job of representing me or what it means to be a Saint.
Would you say that Marymount is selecting just a few students as opposed to representing the whole and their wants and needs?
Yes, I would say that.
Do you have any more comments you'd like to give to ME Public Access?
Save the polar bears.
Save the polar
Save the
bears,
polar bears.
period. Okay, and next we have Blen. Blen is a secretary on SGA. She's an RA, and she's also an international student, to give their perspective.
And she's a role model on this campus.
And she's a fine black woman. All right, so.
Okay,
So, Blen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Lyric?
Stressed.
I'm doing fine too.
Oh, so, how do you feel about this news with you being an SGA and you also being an international student?
I would say it's pretty upsetting. I am not a humanities major, I'm a STEM major, which I'm not technically affected, but in a way I am, because I was planning to minor in mathematics, which is going to be cut, one of the majors that's going to be cut from the STEM department. And that would definitely affect me because there won't be a math department, and minoring in it would be hard for me because I would definitely like need to take like classes from other departments, which is not a good idea. And most of my friends are going to be affected because I have lots of friends in those majors. And the other thing I want to say, as me being international student, international students that are already accepted to this major and already got their visa are gonna have hard trouble because transferring as international student is a very hard thing because we have to get other I-20. Most people are not aware of this process, but you have to get an I-20. You have to get your visa like changed from this I-20 to another because on your visa you have your I-20. So it's a bit like heavy process for international students that already got their visa to deal with, and also international students that are already adjusted here will have a hard time in changing to other school because it's not just easy for it's not easy for American students too, but it's much harder for international students. So it's gonna be a tough thing for especially international humanity major students. I would say that. Mm-hmm.
You're an RA.
Yeah.
Your first job is to look out for your residents. How is this going to affect your residents, and how do you feel that it's impacting them?
This is gonna be a really hard time for most of my kids, my residents. I have a lot
Her
of
kids.
Yeah,
These are her
my
kids.
She birthed them.
I have a lots of humanity major residents, especially like history and like English majors. This is going to be a huge stress for them since we're literally in mid-semester and midterms are coming up. It's like a stressful time as it is as a college student. So adding this stress to them on thinking on like what is going to happen, like my department is going to be gone. I won't have like that connections with professors, and connection with professors is very, very much needed because you would get recommendation out of it, especially humanity majors need that, and also for like internship and everything. So it's going to be a huge stressful time for my residents, which will like might cause a lot of mental issues, which as RA I'm definitely going to be affected because I have to deal with that firsthand. So it's a bit like stressful situation for everyone, I would say, on campus.
How do you feel that you would go about dealing with that with your residents? And if you see that they are very stressed out and worried about their majors and what's going to happen next, how would you go about that?
I would say the first thing, even as RA and like as a SGA member, the first thing we can offer is like, you know, our petitions or like making our sound heard, and like emailing the SGA email, which is sga@marymount.edu. I'm sorry.
Link in the bio.
we can go through that. Other than that, I would definitely support my residents, and if they need any type of mental health counseling, we have a counseling center on campus. I am available most of the time. My residents are really flexible with me. They come to my room. I can talk to them anywhere. It's just more of like being a support system for them right there during this I don't know, this stressful time. So I would say like recommending them to the counseling center and also like making their voice heard because everything matters right here, and like everyone's voice needs to be heard for us to make some sort of change in the department like elimination.
You have an amazing record on you. You're an RA. You are a leadership in student government. You're an international student. And you have those connections to get students out and involved. I'm going to give you some homework because I'm a professor now. I want you to get as many students as you can to get involved, to petition this act and get their voices heard either on MU Public Access through SGA, and just spread that message.
Yeah. Speaking of that, is SGA planning anything to do about this, like besides sending the letter and everything like that and making a statement?
We don't have any type of specific thing, but we have a meeting tomorrow with the cabinet, which happens most of the time in the semester, which is going to be this topic, but I cannot disclose anything like deeper than this because it's
Top secret.
Confidential.
Yeah.
Got it. You ain't gotta tell us. Cut the cameras. What's the camera? Okay, well, thank you so much, Blaine, for talking to us.
Thank you all for making this effort to change.
Of course.
Spread the word. We're
This is
here
it.
for
MU
another
Public
hour or
Access.
two.
We are not here for another hour. We have here Andrea Anaya Sandoval.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Stressed.
Stressed.
Baffled.
Right. My chest hurt.
My
I'm
chest
sick to my
hurts, too.
stomach. I'm going to throw up
Sick
and
to
start
my
pooping all
stomach,
over the walls.
Throwing up,
Throw it
crying, rolling over, like
Screaming.
Jesus, praying.
Praying. Oh, prayer.
That's the best way.
That's
For
Pray.
Sure.
put your hands together. Get on your
For
knees.
sure. Yeah, no, it's been a crazy day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so crazy about it? Tell us. What's happening?
What happened? What's happening?
Right.
What's happening?
Why are you so affected by it?
Well, so, the reason why we're on this podcast right now, whatever this is, sorry, interview, what's going on with the elimination of the liberal arts programs and SJ putting that stuff out there. Also, it's on Marymount's website as well if you want the president's message. It's on MU.
Wow.
But, yeah, so with all that stuff coming out, as a liberal arts major myself, I'm very concerned about my future, about the students that are coming here, just in general. Just feel like they're running me over.
Running you over. Do you feel like that Marymount cares about its students with this action, or do you feel like they just only think about themselves and just want to live paycheck to paycheck, get a quick buck?
I think actions speak louder than words.
You're right.
Period.
I think this affects a lot of students, and I think my frustration is that when Marymount does these kind of things, they just don't ask us how we feel about it. They're just when they tell us, it's when it's already been done.
Exactly.
And it's okay, so what am I supposed to do?
Nothing. Right.
At this point.
Exactly.
And there's been so many examples of this in my time here, so it's frustrating, especially because I'm a junior now. It's not like I can transfer anywhere else. And also, going to your university, you want to be proud of it. You want to be proud of where you go, and I feel like right now I'm not proud of Saint.
Yeah, I don't even see, you don't even have any Saints gear on, so I don't even see,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you're not even not even wanting to wear it, you know what I'm saying? Don't look at my stuff, but don't burn it.
Now I have a
Not burn it. It was $70.
Oh, keep it.
sleep in
70.
it. Keep warm.
After this, we should start a petition to lower the cost of spirit wear.
Oh, that is
That's why I didn't
good.
buy any.
That's why nobody buying nothing. You
I have
know
a
what I'm
question.
saying?
Now, when someone, you're walking around town and say, "Oh, what college do you go to?" How do you say it? How do you say it?
Depends where I'm at. I usually Marymount University, but I always have to add it's in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah.
It's a small college. You probably have never heard of it. It's okay.
No, I did the same thing. I mumble. I'm like, remember.
I always get it. It's not when you go somewhere big, you can even say that
Georgetown.
You'd be
Right,
UMD,
yeah.
Everyone's they know what UMD is. So you gotta
Yeah.
be Marymount, but specifically where it's at.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
usually look at me
What's that?
Exactly.
nice. And they're trying to respect my feelings.
Is that like Colorado or something?
Wow, that's so good for you.
Right. What do you think the school benefits from doing this, though?
I don't even know.
I feel like everything just has to do with money.
Definitely. I think I'm a very athletic person. I want to look at it in their point of view, but even if it is just financial stuff, I think you're losing money from doing this.
Right.
Less
Because more
students.
students are going to leave.
Students
Yeah.
are going to leave, and then you look at the universities around us, we're not competitive. We're not offering the same majors. We're not offering different majors in other universities. What makes people
Exactly.
want to come here anymore? If we just eliminate all these liberal arts programs, especially theology. We're a Catholic school.
At a Catholic school. That's why I was confused.
I don't. The math isn't mathing.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything else that you wanted to express, get out, any emotional outbursts?
If you want to cry, you can. We need the footage.
No, I'm in a lot of student leadership roles here on campus, and I truly believe that when you mobilize students, you mobilize any community that's suffering, you really get stuff done. So I really want to encourage students to come on here. I came on here to tell y'all today to get involved, send your testimonials, petitions, whatever to SGA, and we're gonna fight this. I really don't want us to just let it go and just be all right, they're doing this. Another day, another dollar, just move on with it. I really want us to speak up and vocalize how we feel, because at the end of the day, this is our university, and we should be able to make it our experience be what we want it to be, not what they want.
So our next guest and our next student is Nick Blows, class of 2025, senator in SGA.
All right,
How
Nick.
are you today, Nick Blows, class of 2025, senator in SGA?
I'm great. It's kind of like a rainy day, which kind of sucks, but
Not anymore.
It's like you might live
Lights
it.
out.
Dang.
sort of. I
Okay.
would say like figuratively too, with this whole announcement coming out.
Anyway, so how do you feel about this announcement? Like, how does it make you feel?
I don't know. I just feel once again it's kind of like brought back memories from the housing policy change.
The
I feel
consolidation?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like we're trying to emphasize a lot of transparency, and you know they say they're being transparent. They tell us like 2 weeks before something's about to go into effect, stuff like that. So I feel like, I mean, they know if we had more notice, we would get more input from students. And I know like the housing policy, they were like, oh, well, we talked to many students and they were in support of this. We couldn't find a single student that was in support of it, and
Not a damn
this is
soul.
just kind of
Crazy.
running it back again. So just a little disappointed in the staff to student communication.
Now, what are you majoring in?
Criminal justice. So
Okay.
fortunately, it doesn't apply to me, but I do have a lot of friends that it applies to, a bunch of my teammates and stuff. So it's a big concern for me.
Now, you'd say that Marymount is putting their own needs before the students, those who invested the time and the money, they're not investing it back.
Absolutely, yeah. So when you look at it, it's like, I mean, it's public knowledge. You can find the enrollment by program on Marymount's website. You just type in Marymount enrollment by program. I do understand. I understand their thought process is like, we don't have a lot of enrollment in these specific, in these majors and stuff. But you also have to look at the school size. We only have 3,000 so undergrad and grad. So to say that 15 to 50 students in one major is that's not enough to fund it as a program. You're talking a school of 3,000-ish students. Whereas you go to UMD where they have 50,000. They only had 50 students in a program. It's understandable that you cut it because 50 out of 50,000 is a lot less significant than 50 out of 3,000. So I think when they put it in perspective, it's just they're really not thinking about the students. They're just trying to save themselves money. So yeah, that's kind of where it is.
And I think a lot of people are going to try to blame, SGA should have known or tried. You would say that Marymount, the actual university and administration, blindsided SGA?
I would say in a way they did. Apparently this was, my former teammate was the former president, and when he was made aware of this just today, he said, well, they were talking about this last year, but to his knowledge, it was kind of brought up and then tossed aside, where it was like, it wasn't really a formal decision, it was just kind of talked about, and now we're bringing it back. I don't know if they think, maybe it would have less opposition because of different government. We have almost an entirely new e-board. I don't know if they were just kind of waiting to see, all right, who's the weakest link that we can kind of attack, or if it was just, I don't know what the whole plan was, but I would say blindsided to an extent. There's no way that this is they're just starting to talk about this. This is like weeks, months in the making. You don't just cut programs overnight or plan to. So I feel like that we could have been made aware. But I do understand, maybe they wanted to get rid of any sort of rumors that could have passed around, because once we're informed, anything, we could tell anyone, stuff could get out, so and so said this.
We could do a show like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do this.
So do you think to cover Marymount, they could easily say, oh, well, we brought this to SGA before and we talked about it, so it's not like they didn't know about it?
You can't tell us that you brought it to us, because I would say maybe like 3 or 4 of the people that are currently in SGA were on the same committee or SGA last year. We have a lot of new faces, which is awesome. We're gonna have a lot more new faces in this upcoming election. But I just think it's, yeah, yourself included, I remember hearing. So I think it is definitely, they were just kind of, covering themselves, and well, if they try and pull that card, we can say, well, none of them are here. Like, how did you expect that to be kind of translated into the next coming Senate or E-board even? So
Well, do you have any more comments or additional concerns that you'd like to give to Marymount University Public?
I don't know if it was included in our letter or not, but I do want to let everyone know that if you are a current student in any of those majors, you are grandfathered in, so you're safe. Your program's not going to get cut. I'm not sure as for, if you plan on getting a master's, since you're technically still undergrad, I'm not sure that, but I can tell you, if you're in economics, major right now, you can finish your 4 years, still get your degree. That also raises the question, is my major going to be, or is my certificate or degree going to be valid because the program did get cut? And that's kind of up to the employer, if they're going to say, all right, well, he graduated with a degree in economics, but his program was cut. That's kind of up to them. So, we can only do so much. But I just want everyone to know that we're very aware, and we're going to do everything we can to keep the transparency and just fight it. We're going to back the faculty up 100%. They're already coming up with I think another proposal or some sort of email or something in response to Dr. Becerra's rejection, which happened. We were notified last night that it happened. So that's kind of why we're, breaking out and sharing this information now. So.
Well, I do appreciate you coming down with us, sharing your side.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. That's gonna be my line, MU Public Access. Cut the cameras.
All right, so you heard it here today. MU Public Access interviewed a bunch of students to give their voice. We as an organization, MU Public Access, are fighting for the students, expressing their opinions and representing them. That is also what I will do as the next class of 2026 student senator. Go Saints!